Alright, so we are opened up to the next clean page in our math notebooks, and we are writing at the top the title, place value practice, and today's date, 10/12/20, October 12th of 2020. Place value practice. So 5th grade, our next unit is going to be focusing on decimals, so I figured this would be a good time before we get into that unit to be practicing place value, because in order for us to add and subtract and compare decimals, we need to know the different place values in our numbers. Okay. All right. So I see a few people still getting down the heading. Jack P, did you get it written down? All right. Place value practice. Voices should be off 5th grade. Thank you. And today's date, 10/12/20. All right, so then we have one vocabulary word today, so we're going to label the vocabulary section. The vocabulary, and then you can underline it and put a colon, which is the 2 dots. So make sure you have the heading, today's date, and you're labeling your vocabulary section. I like to because it's a new heading for a section, but that's up to you. All right, so place value. That is the value of each digit in a number. And we've talked about how a digit, like if we have 509, we have the digit 5, the digit 0, and the digit 9 in the number. Jack P, just open the door, please. Thank you. So place value is the value of each digit in a number. And our example is the number 2,309. Now, in the number 2,309, if we look at that 3, is that 3 worth just 3? No. Is the value 3? No. What place is the 3 in, you guys? 100. It's in the hundreds. So that 3 isn't worth 3. The value is 300. How about the 2? What's the value of the 2? 2,000, because it's in the thousands place. So place value is about the value of each digit in a number. It's not just saying, oh, there's a 3. It's about saying, oh, that 3 is worth 300. The value of the 3 is 300. How about the value of the 9? What's the value of the 9? 9. It's 9 because it's in the ones place. The 0 is still worth just 0, even though it's in the tens place. But then that 3 is worth 300. That's its value. And the 2, its value is 2,000 because it's in the thousands place. Do you guys remember talking about this in 4th grade with Mrs. Wells? Yeah. So, or with your previous teacher you had. Yeah. All right, I'm going to give you another moment to get this written down. I see a few people still finishing up. A few people finishing up. Now, the number 2,309, is it a decimal number? No, it's just a whole number, right? It doesn't have anything to the right of the ones place. So when we talk about decimal numbers, those are numbers that have digits to the right of the ones place. So if you look up on to the top of our left whiteboard, do you see how I have the place value system up there? Yeah. So you can see we have the ones place in orange all the way on the right under the orange. Then what goes to the right of the ones place? What goes to the right of the ones place? Iosius. There's a dot. What do we call that dot? Is it a period? No. What is it? It's a decimal point. Yes. So, and then do you guys see how then the numbers continue to the right of the decimal point? We're going to be talking about the 3 places to the right of the decimal point throughout our next unit. The tenths, the hundredths, and the thousandths. No, we're not going to get into that, but I have it up there for you guys to see that it can go that far. So, we are now going to get into place value practice. So go ahead and label that section of your notebook, place value, or you can put place value practice. We kind of have a chart we're going to be putting in here, drawing in here, for the different place values. Put a thumbs up on your desk when you have this written down. Yeah, you can write practice if you want to. I just chose to write place value. Put a thumbs up on your desk so that I know you're ready to move on. A few people finishing up. Okay, so we're going to be putting a chart into our notebook. I color-coded it. You don't need to. But we're doing something like this, and I'm going to show you the easiest way to do this, okay? So what you want to do first, draw a line. See how I went from one red line to the next red line? So draw across one of the blue lines from one red line to the other, okay? So we're just doing that top line. Then on the bottom of that line, too, do the same thing all the way across. So you should just have a line up top and a line down here. Then what you're going to do is, starting at that top left corner, you're going to draw down that red line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm actually going to say 9 spaces because your handwriting might be bigger than mine. So draw down the red line 9 spaces. So yours will actually be 1 space lower than mine, but that's okay. So 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you're going to come all the way to the right. You're going to do the same thing. Down 9 spaces. Go down 9 because your handwriting is probably bigger than mine and you want a little extra room. So go down 9. So yours technically would end here. Mine's up 1. Awesome. Then you are going to draw across that bottom line. So for me, I'd be drawing it across here. So draw across the bottom line. Then you're going to go to the top of that space. So for you guys, that's the 9th space, and you're going to draw a line across that way too. It's okay. You can kind of eyeball it. That's what I did too. Okay, so you should have this top line. You should have a line on the top and the bottom. You should have the bottom line, a line on the top and the bottom. And you should have this far left line and this far right line drawn. Did you guys do that? Okay. So next, what you're going to do, for me, I have adult fingers, and each of my sections where I'm writing numbers takes up about 2 of my fingers. So you want to kind of split it to where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections that are about the same size, and then a skinnier section for the decimal all the way over here. So maybe what you should do, this is what I recommend, maybe do the decimals on the right first, okay? Kind of figure out where you want to go and draw that first line just like that. So right now we're just going to section off. Don't even worry about, see how these lines don't go all the way up in between? They stop on this line. Just worry about the lines that go all the way from the top to all the way at the bottom. So if we start at our decimal section, for me that's about 2 adult fingers. I decided, okay, here, I'm going to draw it all the way down. And then just make a little skinny section for the decimal right next to that. And then you can go ahead and do the rest of them and space them out. So you're just worrying about the lines, the colored lines, that go from the top of your chart to the bottom. Don't worry about these ones that don't go all the way to the top. Just these ones. Here, 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 and that one's already there. Emmy. Don't even worry about writing those right now.
Yeah,
Just,
can we do like,
yeah.
percent of
Nope, you're going to be writing the word. Yep. So that might actually be a good way of spacing it too, is thinking about how much space you need to write some of these, but you don't want to be writing too big because you do want to fit it all in the chart. The D, I did that for decimal so I could keep that skinny column there. So don't write decimal. You just write a D.
It's all good, right? But I was in the
So right now you're just worrying about the bigger sections, not the lines that don't go all the way to the top, just the ones that peak. You don't even want to worry about these lines that don't go all the way to the top. You just want to worry about the ones that go like here. Just those lines for right now. Yep. Yep. You're basically just sectioning off the decimal and sectioning off the decimal.
I was doing all the ones.
Nope. Just the ones that go all the way to the top. So then, fifth grade, once you have the different sections, when I say sections, I mean you have this whole section, this kind of section up. You haven't done these lines yet, but this section, your decimal point section, your one section, thousands, millions, and billions then what you can do, so like if I was looking at my decimal section, I would think, okay, how can I split this section into three kind of equal pieces? So where am I going to put those two lines? And notice, these two lines do not go all the way to the top because we need to write decimals here. So then just kind of split each section into the pieces you need. Each of them have only two lines, except for your decimal point. Once you have all your lines done, then you can start writing in the words and the numbers at the bottom and your decimal points. And everything too, because this is a lot of work. I know it is, but this is going to be really handy for you to turn back to and use throughout our entire unit, which is why we're doing it. Yep, just start writing everything. When you've got everything drawn and written in, then you can put a thumbs up on your desk. Yep, you can write the numbers on the bottom. And notice how I made those commas in my number visible. Okay, you want to do the same. We put a comma when we're going from one section to the other. So once we're done with the ones and we're about to go into the thousands, that's when we put a comma. When we're about to go from the thousands into the millions, that's when we put a comma. When we're about to go from the millions into the billions, that's when we put a comma. And then my decimal point, I made that nice and visible too. My virtual learners, you can go ahead and pause the video to get this written down.